Hey, what's going on? What's good people? Welcome to the podcast, the correctly mistaken podcast. Alongside, as you know, always my brother, that guy Punch.
It's good, brother.
I'm your boy Old Say, and congratulations to Spain, man.
Oh, they won?
They just won the World Cup. Yep.
Oh, congratulations. Shout out to Spain. I remember when I was in Jersey in 2010. 2000.
Uh-huh.
They won in 2010.
So big.
Think that I was there for that one.
Yeah, they won again today. They won in extra time. Thing is,
Nice.
so Argentina had 10 players at the end because of the fact that homeboy got a red Hernandez got a red card. So they only had 10 players, but the goalie had 11, I think 11 saves. It was like Spain had like 20 shots on goal. Argentina had no shots on goal, and the game went to extra innings. So it was unbelievable game.
You watched it? You normally follow soccer?
I follow it more when the World Cup comes, but I
Okay.
appreciate it a lot more. Based on, I don't know if you watch the show called First Things First. I watch it every day with Chris Broussard, Nick Wright,
Yeah, I know that.
friend of Chris Broussard.
Huh?
Chris Broussard is a friend of mine. He's actually a friend of the show too. Came on. He's a guest on this podcast, former guest.
Chris Broussard, you know him? Because you
Uh-huh.
went to school with him or something?
Nah, I ain't gonna. He's much older than I am. He came on my
Chris
podcast.
Broussard can't be that much older
He's like
than you, man.
58 years old, dude.
Chris Broussard is 58?
Oh yeah, he's
I thought he was like maybe like 45. At like
nah. Look at that. Chris every bit.
Broussard's not no damn 58, man.
Bruh, he's somewhere around that thing, bruh. Look it up real quick. Either I know he's in his
He's
50s.
57.
I knew it. I knew it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. We don't crack, baby. You know what they say, baby.
That's crazy, bro.
He's almost 60 years old.
I like Chris.
Yeah, I do too. Great show, too. First thing first. Friend of this show, Chris Broussard, former guest. So he
You know him through church.
came on during the pandemic. Well, nah, there was he does a thing called Kingdom, a group called Kingdom Men. It's called
It's a men's group.
yeah, but it's a national organization.
Yeah. I think I've seen it on like his page or whatever.
Yeah, and at the time when I was a part of it, then I need to get back into it. I didn't do the whole thing, the whole process, because life,
Mm-hmm.
and I just allow myself to get distracted, do other things. But
Be
at that,
like that.
I was able to. I got on there, and then I remember we did. This is like in the beginning, so when I was interested, I came on. We had a Zoom call, and it was a Zoom call. He was on that joint, just talking to us, chilling, and then we introduced and we start, talking a little bit. And I asked him, "Would he come on my podcast?" He said, "Absolutely," and he was a guest, yo.
Shout out Chris Broussard, man.
Shout out to Chris Broussard, man. You know they say friend of the show. When they say
Friend of the show.
is a friend of the show. Now we haven't spoken in a while. He's I haven't. I do text him every once in a while. Every time I text him, he always replies back and say, "How you doing, Wes? How you been going? Everything all right?"
Nice.
My friend Chris Broussard. Well, we are live from a land where we got this.
Thousand non-citizens registered to vote in just 4 states. Mind you, we have 46 other states. And just 4 states, we've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California, and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada. We also worked with proactive states to identify 28,000 non-citizens on their voter rolls, plus 400,000 individuals that are still registered to vote that are deceased. Our machines, we know for sure that our foreign adversaries, not our allies, foreign adversaries have parts that are vital pieces in our voting machines. We know that they can access what they consider the key to the back of these machines, We know that they can change voter registration and your vote. We know it's possible. There's not a question. It's not even for debate. If these states want to grant and they want to be reimbursed to work or to run federal elections, they're going to have to implement security issues. Just security issues. We're not trying to get into anything else, but we're saying that the machines have to be secured and that your voter registration list needs to be scrubbed. We need to make sure that individuals that are legally able to vote are voting.
Registration. He said voter registration. Restoration. I don't even know what that was. But that was the voice of Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen. Somebody has two first names.
Yeah, you don't trust people with that.
You know, it's funny that you say that, but I gave all my daughters two first names.
You gave all your daughters two first names, but their last name is Cherry, right?
And they all have two first names, a middle name, and a last name. I don't know if I trust my daughters, yo.
Rosemary. You got two first names. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you got Nala Simone,
Nala Simone.
Dallas Roy, and Ocean Blue.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know you had three daughters. I only thought you had two, honestly.
Yeah, I got three, man. One snuck in there, bro. The youngest will be 13 in a couple months.
Damn.
The youngest is a teenager going on, man. But yeah, Mark Wayne Mullen, Secretary of Homeland Security, who is also a very dumb person, very very dumb person. That was the gentleman. If you remember, I don't know if you remember, he was going to fight homeboy at the hearing. I can't remember.
You stand up.
You stand.
No, you stand up.
I was like, he's like,
you're a sitting senator.
Bernie, sit down. No, hold on. You know, Bernie, hold on. Sit down. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. No. That's my best Bernie. No, we're not gonna do that. No. Everybody sit down. We're not doing that. Yeah. So I can't. That was a bad Bernie.
It was in line.
And I hear him talk a lot. And sometimes if I can get it, if I just get it, if I hear it enough, that was a bad Bernie. Settle down. I can't do it. Because it's almost like corporations, institutions, what are they trying to do? What are they doing? It's the billionaires, the oligarchs. My man Bernie been doing it, saying the same shit for
60
40
years, man.
But Mark Wayne Mullen, as you can see right there, somebody that is exercising power that they don't have. We have to be clear. Everything he said right there, he legitimately has no power to do any of it. As in the Constitution, the federal government states that the states are the ones that handle elections. The founding fathers, as they love to talk about the right wing, the founding fathers, they love to talk about that. They always say, what do they won't do or what they don't like or what they wouldn't approve of. They did not approve of the federal government impeding on elections. Now, the reason why we have Mark Wayne Mullen doing that is all a pretext of what happened the night before. That happened on Friday when he came out and wrote out this supposedly threat that if states don't fall in line and they're going to do like an executive order. And I think an appeals court actually today ruled temporarily that Trump can restrict some mail-in voting ballots based on, I have to read more into it, but based on if they are approved to be a registered voter or something like that. There's some minutia about that. I just saw appeals court just discuss that. But none of that he's saying that he can do. As the Constitution states, that states are the ones that handle their elections. And states have handled it fine for years. Nobody ever even thought. And it's so funny how they say, nobody thinks about when they say, well, 250,000 people voted or not voted. They were registered. Oh, hold on one second. There we go. I just lost audio for a second.
There you go.
There you go. I'm back.
Mhm.
That's crazy. What
Yeah.
happened there? But you saw with they have no power to do anything that they're doing. Now they're trying to push the weight of the federal government, trying to make people intimidated, fearful. But the fact of the matter is, there's nothing there that he said that he can do that they can do. But they're going to try it anyway. And it's all from Thursday night when Donald Trump had the most unhinged.
You watched it.
Oh, I have to watch it.
You're a true journalist at heart, man.
Yeah, I'm not a I am a true journalist.
You're
I
a
am.
true journalist at heart, man.
Oh yeah, I took a look at it. I had to because it just the depravity of his comments and his statements and just kind of hear. Really, ultimately, it was the same old thing that he's always been talking about. Just rehashed a bunch of old shit. Sorry, Auntie. But rehashed a bunch of old stuff. And basically, what happened was what he did. If you guys don't understand, when he signed or made Bill Pulte the head of the DNI, basically all the intel over the years about the election, because it was proven that China and Russia tried to influence.
Yeah.
But influence and interfere are two different things. Foreign countries always try to interfere or influence. Let's say not interfere, but influence elections. But it was so funny. This stuff that he put out that he declassified basically was just showing that Russia did influence the election, but for him.
Those the Russian hoax.
And it was for him too. Like according it was for him. And any other document they declassify, because a lot of times too, when the intelligence community is gathering intel, some of this stuff isn't true. A lot of it isn't true.
Yeah.
But they still have to document it and book it and say it was looked into, and it came to find out that it wasn't true. It wasn't a lead. It wasn't actual intelligence that they can use in order to, whatever the mission or whatever the strategy is, it was bad intel.
But
But
China got bad intel?
well, no, it was
Or Russia, I mean?
when they get intel, they gather intelligence. Some stuff is true, some
Yeah.
stuff isn't, but they have to document everything and look at
Yeah.
everything. Basically, all that voting, all that documents that he released were that just a bunch of accusations of stuff that were debunked, that were not to be true, but he released it anyway, and it acted as if, and it was so funny. All this stuff happened during his term. He was the president. So what he was trying to say is not only it was the deep state working against him while he was president, he didn't know anything.
It was his government that let it happen.
It's the government that he was in charge of.
It was his government.
His government. His government. And then he said when at the time when he was in power, they took it from him. But then when he was out of power and the Democrats were in power, that was fine because it was too big to rig. Or
Yeah.
the Democrats didn't even, I mean, if you think why the hell 2016 was okay, 2024 was okay, but 2020 was not because of the fact that he lost.
Yeah, in the Democrats' government, he won. In his government, he lost because of fraud that his government didn't catch. But wait, and Republicans got voted down ballot on the 2020 election. Like there were Republicans that won their races.
A lot of them did.
Right, a lot of the Republicans won their races, although people picked Biden to run the country. A lot of people won their races.
Yeah.
But under Democratic supervision, it was on the up and up. But all the fraud was under his supervision.
It's ridiculous. And I mean, there's such an untenable. Like you have to understand what this party's trying to do. Which is it's so untenable. Like you can't have two major parties. We have a two-party duopoly in this country, and you have one of the two major parties that are stating, and I quote, not a quote, but they're stating in so many ways, if we lose elections, it is because the Democrats cheated. Like as if they cannot lose unless the Democrats are cheating. That's literally what their stance is. If we lost, it's because they cheated. Not the fact that we're unpopular, not the fact that nobody likes our policies, that we talk about cutting health care and austerity policies and cutting back and saving and pulling yourself by the bootstraps and just kind of hope and making those sacrifices.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? No, it's the fact of the matter is, no, if we lose, people love our policies. Like the arrogance that Donald Trump is almost like, that's what you can tell is either he's a moron, which he is.
Yes.
Delusional, which he is.
Yes.
But at the same time, the people around him are doing him no justice because they literally tell him everything he wants to hear. This man is polling in the low 30s. And he would tell you in the same breath that if it wasn't for cheating, he would have won California.
Mm.
He says, if Jesus, I think, and I quote, if Jesus was counting the votes, I would have won California. He feels the same for New York. Like, he literally feels the only way he loses, like he is so loved, he is so dear to the people, but he just lives completely insulated. And the people who are around him are not helping him. They're making, well, they're helping themselves. Let's be honest with this agenda. And, i.e. Stephen Miller. People are helping themselves. But it's such an untenable position to have, Punch, in this country when we have one of our two major political parties where I believe we need to do better than that. We need like 10 political parties.
Mm.
Like other social democracy countries and like the Nordic they have like 12 different parties to choose
or
from.
even like the parties in the founding of the country. Like back in the day, you would just switch parties if they stopped representing. There was tons of parties.
Yep.
The Federalists, the Democratic Republican, like there's a ton of parties that have existed throughout the history of America.
And just like any other thing, with capitalism has merged so many things together, you only have a couple of options. It's the same thing what happened with our politics eventually, to the point
monopolies take hold.
Exactly, where the establishments would take they even try to make sure third parties, don't ever arise. And when I say establishment, like I was thinking about this the other day, Punch. And I was thinking in my head, I said, you know what, we keep saying the establishment. It is. But I'm starting to think this is not really a Democrat establishment or a Republican establishment, right?
Mm.
Thinking there is one establishment, like a uniparty establishment. So you have establishment politicians, which is all the Republicans. They're all establishment. And then you have right-leaning Democrats who lean
conservative Democrats.
Exactly. Towards the establishment. And the establishment is at the end of the day, a uniparty because a lot of people, they have the same donors on both sides.
Yeah.
Like, it's to me, I'm sorry to not even say a Democratic establishment. It's just the establishment.
Well, I think that was the whole point of Donald Trump being elected, to drain the swamp, right? Like, it's really like the politicians against the people, right? We include our politics or how the people do politics and how the government also does politics. And they're two completely different things.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like where you have factions and wings and nuances amongst Republicans and the Democrats of the population, there is none in actual representation in office.
No.
Right? Like there is one party. That's why everybody's like, oh, they're two sides of the same coin. Yeah. Right? But then when you get actual representation from the people is where those factions start to separate.
Yep.
Right? Like, so you look at like the Tea Party or even MAGA, right? Which is technically a nationalist populist movement, right? The politics just on Republican sides are bad, but it's also almost anti-establishment, which is why they're kicking out the establishment Republicans.
Yeah.
Right?
The rhinos.
Right, like so. Well, yeah.
Republicans and name only. Now, obviously, they're not. MAGA is not the establishment. MAGA is anti-establishment.
Yeah, MAGA's just winning the war in their
Oh, they
party.
won the war.
They won the war in their party. That's what happened. They won the war in their party, and they've kicked out a lot of people that just won't get on board. If you don't get on board with 100% of what MAGA wants, you lose your races, right? And that's like more of representation for the people, which truthfully is how it should be, right? And you're right, there is one establishment, but our politics, like our personal politics amongst the people, are completely different than what the actual establishment represents for us.
They represent corporations and special interests and
Yeah.
to do with the regular everyday working American, even though the everyday regular working American is the one that votes them in.
Yeah.
And they get voted in and they do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And to go back to Mark Wayne, that what he said there, and also to the point, threatening to jail election officials, became because of what Donald Trump talked about the night before, which was ridiculous on Thursday night. He was proven to be silly. But the thing I'm learning about Trump is, and I guess I shouldn't say learning, but I've learned about Trump, is the fact, even though how outrageous and crazy he sounds, he doesn't really give a shit. Because it's about the pretext of what he's going to do next, or why he's saying what he's saying. It's because the very next day it went from, we have to stop this. It's bad. We have to have trust. Without trust, there's no greatness. He literally said that. Without trust, there's no greatness. There can't be greatness without trust. We have to trust our institutions, even though everybody was okay with our voting until your dumbass came around. Nobody ever mentioned anything about elections being stolen and and ballot harvesting and having Patterson suitcases, and nobody said any of that until you came aboard and after you lost the 2020 election, because 2016 you won, you had nothing to say. So that what he's doing, laying down that groundwork for Mark Wayne Mullen to come out and say, because they can't get the SAVE Act passed in Congress because they don't have the votes. They don't have the votes for the actual bill, and they don't have the votes for the filibuster. They just don't. They don't have them. And the fact of the matter is, what they want to do now, since they don't have the votes to pass it, they're trying to figure out ways through executive order, through other ways to put the Save America, quote unquote. I hate even saying that shit because it is Oppress America. This should be the OA bill, the Oppress America bill. You know, that's what it should really be. But he's trying to put variations, certain things of the Save Act or Save America Act into executive orders. They're trying to figure out ways to implement them in the states. And what they're trying to do, which they can't do, but can't no more, is not even is kind of not relative, because we thought a lot of shit they couldn't do, and he just been doing it. And then even with the courts coming back and blocking it, a lot of times it's so delayed. Like justice is so delayed. You know, say justice delayed but not denied, but delayed sometimes. In that impasse, the damage is done.
Right.
You know, it may be a couple months down the road, a appeals judge or a judge or whatever may say can't do it no more. But it's been 3 or 4 months, and if a lot of states have capitulated, because what they want is they want the voter rolls. Because what they want to do, they want to put them into a system to see who's a citizen or who's can vote. But usually those have came back. Sometimes people who are citizens get flagged, and people who are registered to vote get flagged like they're not registered, or they just get purged out. Because Donald Trump is trying to figure out a way. And we talked about this bunch. We knew this was going to happen. So this is the funny thing. How mainstream media is like, what? Mark Wayne is trying to do what? Trump, what? If you watch independent media and left media, we can show you how this step by step how we got here. Like, we understand this is what he's been wanting to do the whole time. This is it. How many times have we said the midterms is what he needs to keep in order to really try to figure out a way to cement his power into 2028 to actually become a dictator.
Yeah. A lot.
Like he needs it. He has to have it because if he can keep these elections down, which I don't think is going to work.
No.
It's not going to work. But he's definitely trying to do it because he understands what happens if he becomes back in the minority. Now, also, how dangerous can he be when he becomes like literally the Mad King? Like he sound like the rumblies of a Mad King on Thursday night, the way he was talking. I mean, just like a Mad King. And imagine if he loses all power in terms of not having any House of Congress to deal with, and now he's just in the White House, and all he's dealing with is getting a damn subpoena every other day. Somebody's administration is getting a subpoena. Or maybe he starts throwing out pardons. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But the fact of the matter is, you see the writing on the wall. They want the election, or they're trying to figure out a way, or if anything, they're setting the pretext punch to not accept the results of a midterm, which they think, because they see the internal polling. I mean, I think the last congressional ballot, I don't know if you saw it, it had Democrats up by 26 points. And Democrats, their approval rating as a party is like in the 20s.
Yeah.
They're despised. But at the same time, the Republicans are so bad. And what they've done to this country, 26 points. Republicans see the internal polling. They know what's going on. So they're trying to figure out a way to push their thumb on the scale and trying to get lesser people voting because what they always say, the less people vote, advantage Republicans.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out to what end though, right? Like the president's gonna be what, 83, 84 or something like that?
In 4 years?
In 2028, he's gonna be what, 83 or something?
He's 80 now. So what?
So 82?
82?
Right? So like to what end? Right? Like I don't think there's enough time between now and 2028 for him to convince America that he should run for a third term, right? Especially with how bad
Yeah.
things are. I don't think we'll ever really get to feudal monarchical type politics where he could just pass it on to like his kids, right?
I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, but like that's stupid, right? Like that's stupid. Not because it's not worth a try. It's just that it's so anti-American that no one's going to accept that.
No.
Right? There's no heir incumbent to Republican politics, right? The moment he's off the stage, it becomes another basically civil war in the Republican Party. The hole is too big, right? And then yeah, the front runners are Rubio and JD Vance, but we all know that they don't have the moxie to really be president, right? We saw them. Like JD Vance is a nerd. Marco Rubio's a loser, right? Like so we
Rubio was
know that they're not.
respected at one point in time.
You said what?
He was a respected politician at one point.
Yeah, but they're not like actual viable candidates for the Republican Party, right? They also don't represent entirely MAGA, right? And that's the base in which you can say, hey, look, because we have this largest wedge of constituents that will vote. Like you lose that without Donald Trump, right? Like all these factions end up popping up. So my question is to like what's the goal? Because
Entrenched Republican power. Like, I mean, even Trump said it. I think he said, "We do the Save America Act. We won't lose another election for 100 years."
but like I don't even see that as true, right? Like
But it's power. It's just power at all
no,
costs.
I understand the goal, but it's just like is do they really see it as a feasible option to right like that they would end up even if they do put ice around polling stations and purge rolls and women can't vote because their names don't match their passports. Like even if all that was the case, I feel like there's so much faith in the American system, right? That has been built over 200 plus 50 plus years
American
that
election system.
yeah, an election system. That it's almost like you're guaranteeing some form of rebellion if people don't get what they want. And that's on both sides. That's not like just Democrats marching to the street. But like you can't just hand off American politics. We don't have that there's no precedent for that in our politics.
No,
Right? Like it's not like getting like the king of Saudi Arabia handing it to his kid and where it's like, this is precedent or even the IRGC where it's like, oh, well, we'll just vote in another leader and it's a son, right? Even though we voted on it. Like that's not in American politics, right? Like the whole freedom thing, people truly believe in it. So it's just like if you think you're just going to subjugate 330 million people that have allegedly never been subjugated.
no.
Like where like you're like
But this is the same country of people who was losing their minds to wear a mask. Like they were like, "You treading on me."
yeah, it's like don't bring that shit
The
to
mask
Florida.
in the middle of a pandemic where people are dying.
A
You
million
want me to
people
use a
died.
mask? You want me to use a mask? This is
Yeah.
America. I'm free. So it's like, then at the same time, you allow yourself, like you said, the be able to, like you said, to be able to select somebody and to be subjugated. It's almost as if,
Yeah.
but I also think too, it's like in the back of my head, I think, well, he knows this can't be the case. People are going to uprise. Is that the point? So he can declare martial law. Like you think all kinds of different scenarios. Like if an uprising, because like you said, because you're right, people will pretty much uprise and revolt if if that kind of stuff was going on. I think people will really be like, nah. And then when they rise up, like what Trump always giving him scenarios, he almost wants to start things to be able to do something else. Like if I can get people roused up where now it's going crazy, I got to do the Insurrection Act. I got to declare martial law. And if I could do that, how can I hold it? And like I said, it's just like nothing.
That takes an incredible amount of violence.
I know it's just but it's becoming. You have MAGA right now willing to go to a civil war. They're
They're
like,
not willing. No, 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 no. Like that's
you
we're on the internet so much that like people believe that like
okay?
the fever pitch that you need in a country to get to a civil war is way higher than what we have right now, right? Like in the 1800s, people lived under incredible violence. That's not something we like.
Fight,
Life was so hard that war wasn't unusual for them, right? What people actually have to do to go to war here is completely different. Like no one's built for the inconvenience of a civil war.
inside this country,
Not inside this country.
or shooting at each other and having bunkers and actual war and soldiers.
Yeah.
Like if
Where
you,
we meet on the
yeah,
battlefield and kill each other wholesale. Like when you think of what it took to bring the nation to a civil war, it was a 200-year argument about slavery.
yeah,
Right? Like where
that got to a fever pitch.
it took 200 years though.
And it took 200 years to
Right? Right? And these are people that already live under incredible amounts of violence, incredible amounts of stress, where war felt like a feasible option because to kill a man back then was normal. That's not the environment we
Yeah,
live in.
no law enforcement.
Yeah.
You know,
You think you're gonna get we're mostly obese people here. You think you're gonna get all these people willing to walk from the south to the north? Right? Like we have cars, we have things, we have a certain amount of luxury that the people in the 1800s couldn't even fathom. And that's what I'm saying. Like where you see civil wars at, and not to like disparage these countries, but these countries have not existed with the amount of freedom that we have.
yeah,
Right?
out of oppression.
Like even though we can style our issues in certain ways of oppression, it's not the same as like living under a regime for 70 years, right? It's not like a regime that's willing to kill their people. Like we don't have that in the country. And I don't that's what I'm saying like besides causing irreparable harm to the system, I don't really understand their goal in breaking it, right? Because the one thing like that George Washington did was that he yielded, right? He could have been king. We could have had that kind of politics. But the politics baked in from the beginning is one of moving forward or moving on, right? Or having new leadership, of continuity. That's not something that like we're born into it, so it's like normal to us, right? But that passes on generationally. Like your kids are gonna believe more of their freedom than you believed earlier in your life, right? And that's just how it is. So I just don't understand. Besides causing harm, I don't get the politics behind it. You know?
I think that's and I think really reason why you can't think about the politics behind it because I thought about it too, like thinking about ICE and you know
Yeah.
murdering somebody else in the street and like it's so bad politically. It's like it's just bad. And why do they keep doing it? Then you see, you know what? What's the white supremacists? They're they're racist. We
Well,
are
yeah, the
Confederacies in the White
yeah.
House, and when you're white supremacist, this is what you want to see.
You don't have to think further than that.
That's it.
I think that's what it is,
That's it.
right? But the American people aren't that way,
No.
which is why I find it like super foolhardy,
Yeah.
right? Like
Ain't
like we
enough.
have our issues as
Not enough.
Americans,
Yeah, not
but
enough.
there's just not enough of them. There's not enough money from the billionaires collectively to do that here. You know, there's too much freedom amongst the states
Yeah.
to do that here. Like the states operate almost as their own countries,
Yeah. Okay. That's how the Constitution laid it out.
right?
It's rights in the state.
The system was built strong,
Yeah.
right? Or managed strong. Like that's the reason why the economy isn't in as much a shambles as we think it should be based off of it's because it's built strong.
Yeah. It's resilient.
Right? So it's just like
It's
it's just
resilient.
like
I mean, it's not the greatest right now, but it's
nah.
also not in the tank.
But
But
yeah, but
it's
we're still the richest country in the world.
yeah.
Right? We
And you know
could be
what it
doing
is?
a lot worse, but
Yeah.
we're managing because we're still the richest country in the
It's
world.
just, the issue is it's just we're the richest country in the world, but none of our money just goes back to the people.
Yeah.
The country is rich,
The
but the
country's rich.
people in it are struggling. The country's fine.
And wait, and even in that case, to be poor in America is to be rich in a lot of other places.
That too.
Right? Like to be poor in New York is completely different than being poor in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's a whole
Right? Being poor in Mississippi is completely different than being poor in Haiti.
different.
A whole different
That's
world.
worse. Yes. Yes.
Right? Like so it's just like it's like I I guess what they're trying to do. Well, maybe they have this long-term plan and that they've been like this may just be the beginning where we think the last 20 years of their planning has brought us to this point, right? But maybe this is just the beginning and they have like some 50-year plan down the line where they imagine if they stoke these fires and fears, then they'll get that result of being able to subjugate the other and white people still remain in power, but I can't credit them with that much intelligence.
Well, that's the main reason why we're seeing this Trump administration and all their bunkers because it's not much intelligence
Yeah,
amongst any, and I mean that's a good thing for us. That you
yeah,
got no smart motherfuckers up in there. Sorry, Auntie. But you ain't got no smart people up in there that's actually intelligent that can
yeah,
actually think couple 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. Trump just is thinking about himself, his self-preservation. Trump it wants to be president to stay out of prison. Like his way for him to stay out of prison and away from accountability is to remain president of the United States. Because they had that thing where they don't prosecute a sitting president And now the Supreme Court basically said that he's immune. He has immunity. So it's one of these things where they're legit.
Why is he worried about it then?
Because it's the power dynamic. Because the Democrats win and they take both houses back. I mean, he can do nothing.
Yeah, subpoena me all you want. I got the people. Like, so what has happened so far is that they're and again they're looking to cause irreparable damage to our institutions, but they solidified the institution in which he could fight to never be charged, right? Biden gave him an out by pre-pardoning all those people he pre-pardoned, right? So, like, what is he really worried about? The Supreme Court's not going to convict him of anything.
No.
He has the Supreme Court. Even if he loses Congress and the Senate, who don't really have any power to do any judicial shit like that, right? Because it ends up and he could just end up running it to the Supreme Court, not because of he has this immense power. It's because he's the president, right? Like, these are things that we've never actually seen. Like, this amount of corruption we've never actually seen in the presidency or in the executive branch.
Some shit is just not true. Unlock presidential powers. Some of this stuff he just can't do. Look, I'm going to do it and see who's going to stop me. And that's literally what his strategy is. Go to the wall and see how it falls and see who's going to stop me or how long I can get away with it or maybe the Supreme Court gets up to the Supreme Court like I wanted to do and then they rule in my favor.
So what is he worried about then? Like, let the subpoenas roll. You're not going to get me impeached. It's a waste of money, right? Your constituents think it's a waste of money. Yeah, we want to be able to tell the story of what happened, but like, I don't give a fuck about an impeachment again. Sorry, Auntie, but like, if the man's not going to go to jail or get drug out of the White House, I don't care about an impeachment, right? Like, the impeachment is not something popular amongst.
That's why I really hope if they get back, unless they have like the votes, the super votes, like super
yeah,
and they get like 70 senators for something crazy, and then they got enough in the House. Okay,
fine.
Okay, then go after it. You'll have the vote. You can get rid of them. But if you don't have the votes, I don't want to hear the House saying we voted to impeach him, and they get this, and now he's impeached. All he's going to do is go to the Senate. If the Senate is still tied or if it's, let's say it's 51-49 Democrats, they take it back, you don't got 60 votes.
Yeah, you don't have nothing.
Unless you see it's such a blue wipeout and you have such a majority, Republicans get to the point they understand, like the only way the Republicans are going to understand, they may have to make some changes if they keep getting their ass kicked. Like now we're realizing this way ain't working no more. We're going to have to figure out a way to come back to get people to vote for us again. And how do we go back doing that? Then they may say, well, let's just get rid of them, man. But let's go ahead and vote on this side because now they done took it back. Let's go ahead and vote, remove them, and let's figure this thing out. But I doubt that they would do that. I doubt the Republicans would do any of that.
They're not that smart.
No, they're not.
They're like everyone in the party now are shills. Like, they're not. These aren't independent thinkers that have their own insidious like agendas, right? Like, they're literally just figureheads representing the agenda of the president right now.
Yeah, that's
right.
it.
That's literally it. They're not even representing their constituents. It'd be like something of like there was infighting, but they only want what Trump is talking about. They don't. There is no nuance.
Like there. When Jay was it Jay Clayton during his Trump's
nomination. For what is this? The security DNI? Yeah,
Director of National Intelligence.
Yeah.
And what he did in his hearing, how he legitimately, respectable people who got respect now, they legitimately cannot answer a simple question outside of something of who won the 2020 election, not outside of, but they can't answer the question of who won the 2020 election. Like, he legitimately, he can't answer it because it's like, and then you tell yourself, if you can't answer a question that basic, but just fact and true, we're gonna put you in there. You're literally gonna be a lapdog because that's what Trump wants. He wants complete and total fealty to him. That's it. When if I put you in this seat, I put you in this seat for you to be loyal to me. Period. I don't give a damn about this country. I don't give a damn about facts, truth. None of that matters. Like he even said it a couple years ago when he told the Georgia officials, just say it's fraud and I'll let me and the rest of the R politicians, when he said R, the letter R, but he meant Republican politicians, let us just take care of the rest. You just say that it is. And that's legitimately what he's trying to have here. And you're seeing what Jay Clayton and a serious person, somebody that was respected and now gets himself dissolved to like just a bitch boy.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird. It's like even John Austin was like, don't you find this humiliating that you can't answer actual facts and fearful because at the end of the day, you are trying to, as you can see, no matter how good you may be respected, but it's an opportunity to get your hands on power. Look what you're willing to do in order to get your hands on some power. Look what you're willing to do. You're willing to lie, to show fealty, and not speak the facts. The facts. Because of the fact you want, like when he said, and I thought it was amazing. I actually did a video on it. When he talked about what John Ossoff and had the nerve to say that John Ossoff was performing theater. And I thought that was so the irony in that. Because you're the one that's actually performing theater, Jay Clayton. Because you're sitting there and you're telling him that you're not going to do theater, but you're actually doing theater because you can't answer an easy question because you're playing a role for the audience of one.
It's wild, man.
I mean, he's playing theater and he's accusing John Ossoff of theater when you're the one playing a role. You're not even being yourself. You're degrading yourself, playing a role for an audience of one. And when you're playing a role to an audience, that's acting. That's theater. And the nerve to say that that's John Ossoff. And it's what they do. It's, no. I'm not getting involved in that theater. No, you're doing the theater by sitting here lying and can't answer a easy, simple question of who won the 2020 election. But Joe Biden was certified as president. And like you said, and for what?
Yeah, I'm bewildered, honestly. I just don't like the power that you gain from this won't last that long. Right? You got 2 years max. Hey, and I know that the president and his family is maxed out on them 2 years. But you don't have that opportunity. Yeah. Right? Your opportunity to become a billionaire in 2 years is not the same as his ability.
He got the chance.
Yeah, that choice like so I don't understand exactly because now you get just a scar from the kind of politics you paid. Right? Like I don't believe that that MAGA will exist much longer. Right? I think what happened was that the far right wing, the Confederates, whatever, they got their little taste of power. But the people that style themselves as moderates are completely out.
Yeah, they're done. Independent.
They're completely out. And I don't even consider those people independents. I was talking to got in an argument with my cousin and my brother this last week. One of the things that came up was that, because we're always trying to like talk to the middle. The people that voted culture war over the economy are not independents.
And that's
They're Republicans.
and thank you. And that's becoming the middle. That's
Right?
the middle.
Well, that's the truth, right? They don't look at us, not even us, but they don't look at the people that style themselves as independents
Yeah.
that voted Democrat as independents. They're Democrats to the Republicans. The Republicans are not reaching over to
They
get.
expect for Democrats to reach over, and they actually tried to with the mythical white swing voter that we always talk about.
Yeah, so so
Reach out to a mythical
the
white
people
swing
that
voter.
the people that say, hey, look, you know what? Well,
Um,
I think
she's going to turn
I got
Republican for 40 years. She's gonna turn.
yeah, or the people that say, you know what, I'm off the MAGA boat, right? Like those people, even in their like willingness to be Republican, the moment they vote Democrat, they're Democrats,
Yeah,
right? The only independent vote is the person undecided, right?
that's where everybody's usually fighting for the undecided vote.
The decision makers aren't you either one or the other. The moment you vote Republican, you're a Republican until you change your vote to something else. Right? So it's just like they've lost that whole group of people though.
Yeah, badly.
So what do you think you're gonna get in the next 2 years? Right? And I honestly think that it'll be what would be good for the country is more Republican rule. Right? Just for the fact that you could so people can see how bad it can really get.
And it's bad now.
It's bad. It's the worst it's ever been.
Worst it's ever been.
It's, at least in my lifetime. It's the worst it's
What's the
ever
episode
been.
called?
And
Maybe
you
it
thought it was bad before.
yeah.
Right?
About
And
episode, maybe it got to get worse. That's one of our episodes.
If the result is like where we have this even breakdown of who to choose from, then we need more of this. Right? Like we need more of the bad results that we're getting so people could truly see the Republican Party as a conservative opposition party is not a viable party.
You can and start to contrast results. I remember when Mondami said the other day, man, he was on the I think the interview the New York no, he's on an interview with Brian Tyler Cohen. He was also on an interview with the New York Times, I think, which was the dude is just a brilliant politician. But I love what he said the other day when he was talking about the issue is we have to do results because when we do results, we get out of the framework of having to contrast visions. Like the PSA vision, the vision of, okay, what is our vision? What is this vision? And if we are able to get into power, then we have to start having results. So now when it's time for voting time, instead of just talking about visions, we can contrast results.
Yeah.
And people can say, it's not imagining what it looks like under democratic socialists. What will a city-run government look like under the democratic socialists? It's no longer
Looks like New York.
You
Yeah,
can
they'll be like, it looks like New York.
exactly. You can actually have it and show it and contrast results. And then, like you said, Republican results, you show what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's Medicaid, like what, 10 million people lost health care, food assistance cut, taxes cut, cuts backs on child pediatric cancer research. I mean, cut back on the research for certain infectious diseases and viruses. While you got measles breakouts, you got the explosive
diarrhea
breakouts. When he fired everybody that's supposed to be looking up,
they're screw worm in the beef.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Worm in the beef. What was that?
The screw worms?
No, what was that?
You don't heard about that? It's an epidemic taking over in Texas and like the little where they lay eggs in an open flesh on cattle.
Yeah.
And then it like starts to eat at the cows. And what happened was that in the first Trump administration, they got rid of the department that handles that down in I think like Colombia or like Lower Mexico or whatever. It's one of those areas. The people because what they have to do to get rid of screwworms is that they have to release hundreds of millions of um what is it when you can't have babies? What's it called? Sterile. Sterile. They gotta release hundreds of millions of sterile screwworms so that when they mate with the other, I guess, flies or worms that like the flies that lay the eggs,
Yeah.
that they won't end up reproducing. But that was like a 20-year project, like a 30-year project, and they just got rid of it because, you know,
Just
these
because.
people don't understand
There's no reason.
Doge and shit.
They just yeah. No,
Just Doge and shit. Screwworms, fuck that. Like, what's a screwworm?
you know what? Screw. It's just Doge and shit.
Yeah, but like that's like we need more of that if people aren't convinced it isn't the worst it's ever been, right?
And also,
Like
people are so individual. If they were start looking at a collective and realize this ain't good, but individually, people tend to look at their own lives individual and say, well, you know,
well, that's the American promise, though,
exactly.
is
It's not
that you can be an individual.
and that's what has hurt us in a lot of ways. Where, in my opinion, where they say the individualism has been so hypered, where now nobody looks at the collective and understanding the collective, and every single thing shouldn't be from your personal viewpoint because you're not looking at the whole picture, and if you and like it makes sense why people will base things off of their own life, but a lot of times it's almost like the person that gets robbed,
Mm.
God forbid, at gunpoint. When if that happens to you, God forbid, usually that's very rare for that to happen. But if it does, then afterwards you think on every corner somebody's going to rob you
Yeah.
because it's the individualism that we have been so, you know, seared in our brains. We don't think about the collective and why, like how the right wing does it. The right wing does it so well. They're able to individualize these cultural issues to make you think it impacts you in your world. So you have to vote against it. And ultimately, when you vote against these things, that's usually not even true. It's a strong man, it's a boogeyman that's made up, but they effectively have gotten you to vote. Like, perfect example, somebody on Facebook the other day. I think was it today. One of my friends on Facebook, known him for a long time, good guy, but leans one of them, right leaning type cat.
Democrats,
I don't
the
even
conservative
I
down.
don't even know what he is, to be honest with you. Um, but every once in a while we have our back and forth. He'll make comment on something and have some things to say, but then it kind of like goes away. But he said the other day, talking about, and this is how the Republicans are effective at what they do. He was talking about how in California and New Jersey and Missouri, he's like, don't you know it's now that they're allowing kids as young as 12 and 13 years old to block access from their parents to see their medical records. Like, this is crazy. This is madness.
I had this conversation with my brothers and my cousin the other day.
Yeah, so it's like, so then you think about, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument that that's what's going on. Now, usually they're doing that because they're trying to protect if you have kids who are in the small faction that might be transgendered or they're going through or they don't want their parents to know because sometimes when they out their parent, they out to their parents or they say something or whatever, they have issues in the home. Sometimes parents may put them out or
A lot of these kids live under incredible amounts of violence from their parents.
yeah, if they come out and say, I'm dealing with gender dysphoria, and I think I'm in the wrong body, and and a lot of times I think they're trying to, if that is the case, they're trying to do that. Okay, you can have a debate on that. I understand it because still
No,
minors, you know what I'm saying. But if you critical think and understand, the overwhelming majority of 12 and 13-year-olds are not caring that their parents have access to their medical records. They even though they're not even going to know at that age that their law is even a law. Like they're not a 12 or 13-year-old. Like my daughter is 12, going on 13. I guarantee you right now, I can tell you what she's doing. She's probably on her phone, on her iPad with her friends, playing Robux or baddies on the game, or talking and running her mouth.
Baddies has a game.
It's not. It's the Roblox game though. So
They be on that joint fighting like on the show.
they just be thumping, yo. It's crazy. And my daughters watch baddies, yo. And it's
You can't stop it. It's the culture, man.
one of my guilty pleasures too is like people that be fighting.
You don't be watching baddies, man.
Well, I do every once in a while. Because see, every at 8 o'clock when it comes on, like today on Sundays.
Hell no, man.
Don't tell me that, brother.
Dude, it be on TV.
Don't be telling me that you on it. You got a subscription to Zeus, my boy.
Well, I pay for them.
Hey, look, my nieces watch it too. I'm not proud of it, but I was watching Jersey Shore back in the day.
And I was watching Bad Girls Club. I mean, Natalie Nunn, all she did was actually give it to her credit. It was smart.
She started a fight club. That's what she started, man. She started a fucking fight club.
And made it mostly black.
Yeah, she started a fight club.
Yeah. And fighting, whatever the case may be. So yeah. But we could have a baddie episode down the road.
Yeah, man. I don't want to participate in that.
I can tell you about Natalie Nunn and Roll and Big Lex.
Yeah, I don't want to participate in that, my boy.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Women who just love to call each other hoe. They'll be tripping me out. But to act like a 12 and 13-year-old, most likely, is not even going to be familiar with that law, with that rule. And most 12 and 13-year-olds are not going to be like, no, my parents can have access to my medical record. They're not even thinking about that. It's not even a concern. But how the right effectively makes this something individual, they say, well, God, do you see what they're doing? 12 and 13-year-olds, they're telling them that now, if you're a parent, you can't have access to their records. That's going after your rights as parents to your children. And then they go a little deeper. And if they're taking away your rights from your children, then who's gaining them?
The kids.
Who's gaining the rights?
That's who's gaining them, the kids.
And is the government gaining their rights? They're taking away the rights from you. So who are they giving them to? And so then they'll be like, we can't have that. We cannot have 12 and 13-year-olds walking around here telling their parents that they can't have access to their records. I'm voting for the Republican because of that. Then they do it, and then you lose your health care, you lose your food assistance, and more tax cuts for the rich. And they've effectively struck again. Because they make you focus on the individualism, not the collective of thinking in your mind. Do you think if you have a 12 and 13-year-old kid, do you think that they're thinking about at that age, like my daughter right now, she's not thinking about, does my dad have access to my medical records or not? And if he does, I need to make sure he doesn't. No. Most kids aren't. But they don't need most kids to be. They need the narrative of, parents, you're losing your rights to your kids. Yeah. That needs to be stopped. It's not really happening. It's just like what Mike Johnson said the other day. We're spending we need to spend money, $350 billion to fight communism in this country. There isn't communism in this country. But but you want to make it fearful and fearmonger about it. They vote for the Republican, then 20 million people lose their health care. They vote for the Republican, and cancer research for kids are taken away. They vote for Republican, and then 350,000 black women lose their jobs. They vote for a Republican, and you lose 4 million people are knocked off of food stamps. And that's how they're effective, because they need you to think hyper individual. Always. It doesn't mean that you should not think about yourself and your goals and your values, but you should be thinking about how you're going to use your goals and your values to ultimately impact the collective.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
But they effectively, it's
See,
effective
this
to
is
an
where I want to push
extent.
back. I don't think it's the right's ability to message. I
They're
actually
really good at
reject that premise.
You don't think
I
they
don't think they are. I don't think they really are good at messaging.
what like just woke when they say woke?
No, and I'm gonna explain what I mean because I told you I had this argument. I had this exact argument with with my brothers and cousins, where this whole like premise of the right's ability to like galvanize that coalition of people to vote against their interests, right? And it went back to like if you're able to vote, if you're able to vote culture over the economy, it's really just your bigotry, and not just to white people, but that's to everyone. Like we all deal with our own forms of bigotry, right? Like there's groups of people I'm not super fond of. I don't think less of them, but they're like, I've never really enjoyed like, or they have a historical thing like I don't really like or whatever, right? But you couldn't convince me of an issue with them to where I would say, yeah, the economy is worth fixing that problem, right?
Yeah.
So everyone that voted Trump that said, you know what? Because if we really think about it, there were no real economical policy promises to the right, right?
Never.
So if you're like if you're not one of the if you don't consider yourself dumb MAGA or the people that don't really understand, you consider yourself a critical thinker, and somehow the right had said something to you that made sense. One, I challenge you to name a Republican policy that you like outside of the culture stuff, right? Most people can't do that,
They can't.
right? The literal policy promises from Trump: I'm gonna get men out of women's sports,
Yep.
mass deportation,
Yep.
get rid of DEI. Those were the three policy promises. Tariffs. There were no other economical promises to make life materially better for the American people. So if you voted for Trump, right, based off of those just policy promises, you voted your bigotry. It is very human to have some sort of bigotry in you, right? Like it's not special to white people, it's not special to the others. Everyone deals with their own form of bigotry, right? Which is why I challenge the premise that the Republicans are good at it. What happens is that our politicians leave us in such a state that there's nothing else to vote for. I don't get economic relief from either party,
Either
so
part.
I vote my bigotry.
Yep.
Right? It's not the ability for the Republicans to message. It's the inability for the other side to deliver actual results that people would say that my bigotry isn't worth free healthcare. In that conversation I had with my brothers, I told them, I said, if Obama was able to deliver universal healthcare, we don't get Trump.
No. In a lot of ways, people don't talk about this either. Obama's lack of inaction made way
For
for
Trump.
Donald Trump.
And it's not really Obama the person's fault.
No.
This is
Just
the way our politics are set up,
exactly. Just the way
right?
exactly.
They say the moral arc moves slow,
Austerity,
but it generally moves correctly.
austerity politics,
The
incrementalism.
incrementalism.
Yeah.
If we had big swings that delivered for people, right, then we would not be in the situation where every 8 years or 4 years our politics can change so drastically. But because people's lives did not get like in 2008 when Trump got here, not Trump, Obama came, life was bad, right?
Yeah.
But life didn't get that much better under Obama, and it got like metrically it got better, right? If we do the statistics and all that other shit, yeah, it got better. But for the average person, life didn't get materially better.
No.
So when you ask them, all right, well, what do you vote? Well, if y'all not gonna give me the politics like that'll put money in my pocket or give me opportunity or that make my streets safer, I'm only left to vote my bigotry
and voting what I'm in fearful of,
and what I'm in fear of.
and not what
At
we
least you can
value to.
control.
Yes.
Yeah, at least my religion says that like. But if I gave you paid family leave, universal child care, and universal health care, you wouldn't even be thinking about it.
No.
You would ask them the 11 transgender people in sports, right? Because they can't play in the NCAA. They're not in pro sports. So the few trans people that are in sports, is it worth your healthcare? The answer is probably no. Right? Is it worth your Medicare? So when Trump comes in and says, I'm not gonna cut Medicare, but I am gonna get all these immigrants out, and then he goes and cut Medicare, they voted because I can't go to the hospital anyway.
Exactly.
You cut my medical. If I go to the hospital with the medical care, I'm gonna go bankrupt. If I don't go to the hospital, I'm gonna die. No one has a better options for me, so get the immigrants out. That's a very human response.
And then maybe they saying if I get the immigrants out, maybe that helps my health care.
Yeah, maybe exactly. That's how they rationalize.
No
But that's a
guarantee.
very human response. That's not your ability to message. The only reason why the Democrats lose is because we don't have a message.
They
The
said,
message is, oh, we'll get it back to the way it was. And if
bad.
it was already bad, why do I care?
Already been bad. People already been being ass out here.
Yeah, people like someone said in an interview, he asked, do you know how much you have to do to an animal to make it stop reproducing? Our birth rates are down because of the conditions that we live under. That's worldwide. Do
I
you
mean,
know how bad you have to treat a human to stop them from reproducing?
and now, I mean, the new data came out that women in their 40s are having children at a higher rate now than young women in their teens or even going into their
Do you
20s.
understand how bad you have to treat people for that to happen? An animal to forego what is so natural to them, something like reproducing.
Wow.
And there's no answer for it for the other side. So when people go, oh, well, the Republicans are just good at messaging, there is only one message out.
And that's what my Dami said. They talk about fraud and they talk about waste. That shouldn't be the Republican narratives. It should be Democrats talking about fraud and waste. And then when they get power, actually tackling fraud and waste and abuse.
Yeah.
Should not be Republican narrative. Because all the Republicans want is to have the narrative. If they can control the narrative, they can get the votes that they need to stay in power. And then what happens? People lose health care. People lose food assistance. People lose opportunity.
Child poverty increases.
Child poverty rate. I mean, it's just Republican policies are the worst.
Yeah, and we can see it.
Period.
We're living in it.
We're living in it right now. They have the utopia that they wanted.
This is what government looks like to them.
And that's what Madame says we have to start being in action because we start taking like in 6 months.
You need radical wins.
And the man, like what 10 minutes, and the dude has 175,000 potholes filled in the city. He has universal health care not health care, child care
for 2-year-olds.
Put the tax in for the rich. I think the Pierre tax. I can't.
Yeah, petty, whatever. The house tax. The extra home tax.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. They're doing the new rental. It's called the rental board, but it's a board for the landlords. The whole landlord's accountable, and to do the things that you need to do.
Yeah. Or they have to give up your apartment. There's no junk fees in New York no more. What you see on the internet is what you buy.
And it was so funny, they said the whole thing of millionaires are going to leave. They're going to leave New York. Dude, the New York market is the hottest it's ever been.
Yeah, they're buying buildings as fast as they can in New York right now.
People are happy.
And with all that, he's the most popular Democrat in the country.
What do you think it looks like for an area, for business, when people in that city are happy?
And
they're getting their life materially improved based on the actions of a mayor. And now they're having more money. Now they're having better buses. Now they're having a better quality of life. Now they're able to be more creative. They'll be able to explore. Not
and the lowest crime in the history of New York.
lowest crime in the history of I think in the city's history.
Yeah, in the city's history, the lowest crime in the history of New York.
When you start attacking and fighting poverty, not people, you start fighting poverty, crime rates go down because usually historically the crime rate is directly tied to poverty. It just is. If you throw a through line,
and if
it
you
goes
look at
right
it,
to poverty.
And if you look at it, all the big cities are basically Democrat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The reason why you move to a big city is because life is materially better by the city. Mm-hmm. It's not just because you want to go to bars and you want to, hang out with your friends and do drugs on the weekend or like go to parties. It's because there's employment, there's better housing, right? Like there's probably sections of cities that are bad, but generally in the city, it's safer, right? The schools are better, right? Like you get that, right? And people will fight for that despite all the other cultural bullshit they may or may not disagree with, right? To have people to have their little section of the city, let the gays marry. The people that want their little section of the city, fuck it, give them abortion. They're making money.
Yes, they
right. They got restaurants they can go to. They go to parties. They're social. They can say like this is the reason why the people. It's literally everywhere else where you see the true fault of the American system.
And what happens is eventually these billionaires and these corporations that are in New York City, if the system benefits them and nobody stops it, they're not going to stop it.
They don't care. It's about the money for them.
Exactly. It makes changes where they have to adhere to them. They're going to capitulate. Because at the end of the day, they want to make money.
And they want to be the place where they can do it the most.
Thank you. And people who are happy, who are living better lives, and they're able to make more money, they have more of their time, they're going to participate in the economy. They're going to participate in business. They're going to be more entrepreneur. People can make money.
And their hate becomes more individual than communal. Like, we're not going to get a whole city of people that hate black people. You're not going to get a whole city of people that are okay with women dying because they don't have access to maternal care. Right? Those are poor, uneducated people, but you have to keep them in that state because if they were given better lives, they would not care about those things, which is why I'm saying there is no message. Right?
They don't want a message.
Yeah. The Republicans go, all right, we gotta energize the Christian nationalists.
Paid opposition. Paid losers, the Democrats.
Right?
Paid
exactly.
Losers.
The Democrats say the Republicans go, we gotta convince white nationalists, Christian nationalists, white supremacists. We gotta get all those people to come out and vote for us, right? The evangelicals. The left says, we gotta talk to more Republicans. It's absurd that that's their process.
Same, because at the end of the day, what we always talk about, because leaning to the right-wing voters have been conditioned to not want for shit.
To not want anything.
Sorry, Auntie. They don't want for nothing.
So it's definitely not message, because it's a very human thing to choose your bigotry when you don't get nothing else. It's normal. You see it everywhere in the world. That's why all these atrocities can happen everywhere in the world.
As now, Eric Adams and them are going crazy because Madami, as he said, talked about possibly looking into with Benjamin Netanyahu comes to New York, arresting him. And they asked him, he said, yeah, we're looking into it. Because
he's a wanted criminal.
I called myself that time. He's a war criminal.
He's a war criminal.
The ICC has a warrant for his arrest for war crimes. Yep. And it's so funny when you have the ambassador, Mike Walsh, when he says, this is the ambassador. I think he's the ambassador of, where's the ambassador of?
He's not the envoy. No, that's Steve Witkoff.
The UN ambassador.
Okay, yeah.
He says, Mayor Madama, here's why your threat to arrest Netanyahu and NYC is not going to happen. The U.S. is not party of the Rome statute that underlies the ICC. The UN headquarters agreement grants diplomatic protections to visiting heads of states. Blah blah blah. The head of state immunity applies. Federal authority trumps any local mayor's wishes. This is pure political theater. It's not political theater because people want to see something. Like, people have seen what's been going on and what's been occurring. They've seen with their own two eyes. Are like, this dude needs to be in The Hague.
Yeah.
And he even said it. Mandami said Netanyahu belongs in The Hague.
Too bad he was born in Uganda, man.
Oh, man.
And not in New York.
What I love about him too, though, that's when I show how he really cares about the people, because in the Jonathan Carl interview a couple of weeks ago he asked them, because, they can't wrap their head around, the media can't really wrap their head around somebody that's actually like really has concerns just for the people. Like they don't, they're like, what? So you're not trying to raise money, or you're not trying to like try a way to control power, or you're not trying, no, you just really want to help people? Because he asked him, I know you're 30, he just turned 35 years old. He said, well, you're 35, now you can, by eligibility age, you can run for president, but we know that you're a naturalized citizen, so you can't. He said, do you want to see changes into the Constitution for that?
I saw that.
No.
No. He doesn't need more. He's in charge of the most powerful city in the world.
And also, it's not about power and trying to become the president. It's about, it should be about, for every single person in this world, it should be, what can we do individually to get myself to a level of success where then I can pull the ladder down and help other people?
Yeah.
What can I do when I get my hands on power that I can help? And I don't have to be the president of the United States. If I can be the mayor, a state assemblyman, a congressman, an alderman, whatever the case may be, what can I do and get in a position of power and influence where I can help people, and not be about acquiring power, but just getting into power to be able to enact policies to help people, and not have these ambitions of being president. He doesn't have ambitions of being president. He has ambitions of being somebody of who I can help. How can we show this city what it looks like when a DSA, a Democrat socialist that believes in social democracy, which is meaning that we have capitalism, we have free markets, we have entrepreneurs, we have innovation, we have all those things, but at the same time, we have universal health care, we have paid family leave, we have affordable housing, we have a mixture of it. What they want us to think is that, no, it's a zero-sum game. There's no way you can have these things paid by your tax dollars and at the same time have corporations, have innovation, have entrepreneurship, and have markets. And it's just not true. It's just a balance where corporations and a government will no longer, how our government works now, where it aids and abets and it helps corporations. It will go back to a government that protects the people, for the people and by the people, protecting its citizens from corporations, from special interest. That's the job of a government. That's what we do not have right now. And we haven't had it, Punch, ever? Well, since FDR.
Yeah, but we didn't have it. We didn't have it.
You took the words out of my mouth.
We didn't have it.
We still didn't have it.
Our soldiers were still getting drugged behind cars when they came home.
And they still look at us and tell us that we being divisive by just bringing up the fact that we saying we ain't have it. But guess what? Right now, we can have the freedoms that we have now and also be able to have a social democracy. And that's what we're looking for. And you have to tell yourself and think to yourself, why are they fighting so hard to make sure that everybody has a shot to live a good life of dignity? Why does that terrify them?
Well, see, we understand why it terrifies the Republicans. What I don't understand is why it terrifies the Democrats.
Because it messed with their money and them Democrat consultants.
That's the question.
And all their money. Because money. Like that's why you see Democrat consultants get pissed off with progressives like Abdul Saeed and Graham
You
Plattner,
saw that the CBC they they chose Haley Stevens.
because
I
and
might have to ask about that and for CBC Weekend this year, man.
yeah, no, and because of that ad, too. That ad that put in of what Obama.
About okay.
She was like the chief of staff, but the way she did it is like it was true. But the way she's doing it is as if that Obama gave her an endorsement, and he didn't. He just talked about how Haley Stevens was a big part of. Let's be real, the corporate bailout. Because when they bailed
Oh,
out,
that socialism the auto industry got.
yes, the socialism of the auto industry, when they bailed them out because they were donors and giving money,
Yeah.
and like they bailed out Wall Street in '08.
When they were too big to fail.
When they effed it all up, paying stock buybacks and paying bonuses to the executives and fucking the money all up.
Yeah.
To the point now they need a bailout. Yes, Haley Stevens was at the forefront of giving corporations a bailout, but because of that, she made that to parlay like Obama is endorsing her, and it's been effective because the polls have tightened, and some people are saying, especially black people, "Oh, that's all I need to hear."
Yeah, and the CBC endorsed her.
Ridiculous, man.
They're like,
but the thing is, you have to remember, we talk about it all the time. Black politicians ain't shit either.
The managerial bourgeoisie class that like we watch them want to participate in American politics as American politics.
Yeah.
They're not interested. Like this was also an issue with the NAACP, with I don't remember the name of the group that Martin Luther King was a part of. It was one of them Southern something.
Can't remember that Southern Baptist or
it was Southern something. But
I was gonna say the Southern Baptist Church. I don't think that was it. That was very white. I think that wasn't it.
But it's just like you watch them the moment they become, which is also a very like human thing. When you get access to power, you do everything you can to keep that access.
That's basically what Jay-Z was doing. He was spewing that nonsense the other night in Madison Square Garden.
I don't want to get into it with you, but I absolutely just have to like push back. Like we do something in the Black community that does not happen in other communities, where we exalt our artists and hold them accountable for things they should not be held accountable for. Jay-Z's a goddamn civilian.
Just don't say it. Don't say
that. He's allowed to say whatever he wants to say. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever he wants, but you sound like somebody that, once again, because the system that we work against has not worked for you, and now that it's worked for you, like you just said, now you're going to protect the very system that we need to change, but because now it's been hugely beneficial to you, now the system's fine. It's y'all trying to do Target and Instagram. Y'all talking on Instagram, but Meta owns Instagram. Dude, you're talking about the issues that you're right. That's the issue. So much concentration of shit. We only got like 3 social media companies to choose from.
Yeah, like you can only go to Target or Walmart.
You only can go to Target.
It's not like you can go to a lot of places. But I'm just saying we hold him accountable for that because we think too highly of him. He like, and I understand that we've always done that with our artists. James Baldwin, what's his name? The poet. What's the poet's name?
Was it James Baldwin?
No, the other one. Langston Hughes.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, like all these people but their world, honestly, should only be relegated to their world, right? Like these artists, although they represent a collective of thought, their responsibility is only to the world of art, right? Like when I hear Jay-Z talk, unless I like what he's saying, I'm listening to it. Otherwise, I'm like, Jay-Z's just some random dude that got rich. And I like to say it all the time. Dumb people get rich. All the time.
Yeah.
Stupid people get rich.
And especially just being
all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And look, Jay-Z also has a point because he's helped an incredible amount of people. Right? His job is not to be the leader of the Black community.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. It's when you come across and you just say, oh, y'all doing Target, like what you doing these boycotts for? Like none of this stuff worked, and it did. It was effective to target boycott when enough black people actually went out there, and it was effective. They actually got some concessions, and it was effective. Now, obviously, will they hold? I mean, who knows? But at the same time,
Were they even real concessions?
that too,
Right?
and only time will really tell. But at the same time, if anything, Target was responsive to it. How about that? If anything, they weren't like, oh, these crazy people. They were responsive to it. Now, maybe you see some other reports. My reports I read, a lot of they made some. They were responsive in ways of meeting with the black community. And now, I don't think like their DEI shit. I don't think they rolled that stuff. I don't think they brought that stuff back. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like no one benefits from the concessions that we got from Target. That's what I'm saying. No one benefits. The Jay-Z has probably helped more people than the concessions from Target will. Right? Like that's my point. Right? Like during the Montgomery bus boycott, they got real concessions.
They did though. They
Huh?
only boycotted the buses. They didn't boycott other businesses.
No, and I know, and everybody, and
You know,
but I'm just saying
they
we
were
actually
focused.
got a
They decided to be
concession.
focused. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They like shit started to change. Like they got some political win from it, right? Uh or Reverend Pastor Jamal Bryant, he pulled out.
Well,
And
he
and
said
we
that he got it. I guess they got enough. I guess.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like if we're really accepting such little wins, I challenge anybody to name me uh a real advancement that we got from Target boycott. And I still don't go to Target, right? So like I'm all on the effort, but we didn't get anything. So besides the the ability to say that we boycotted them, that somebody boycotted them. Yeah, they lost 12% of their foot traffic or whatever. But did we really get any concessions from it? The answer is no. And honestly, that is representative of how black people have been doing politics since the civil rights movement. Right? Like all the marches, all the protests, we don't get anything from them. Right? And it almost makes it seem as though we're playing like we want like
Well, here were the concessions that they said they got: restoring or strengthening DEI commitments, reinstating
not a
programs
concession.
for black-owned businesses and diverse suppliers, maintaining funding and support for diversity initiatives.
Nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Now I hadn't even looked into this. Being more
So so
transparent about changes to DEI policies,
so when someone like Jay-Z,
right,
right?
to discuss concerns and reaffirming commitments to equitable hiring and workplace. Yeah,
Yeah, what is that? No
what
one wants a job at Target.
I take it all back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when you get someone like Jay-Z that and again, this isn't really about Jay-Z, but he has used the ability to acquire capital to do the things that mean shit to him. We cried for 40 years about representation in the Super Bowl. You don't see nobody. They got Bon Jovi up there 5 times. No one listens to Bon Jovi, right?
Yeah.
You get fucking Bad Baby or Bad Bunny. You got all them West Coast stars. Like ever since he's been there, and that's not a material win, but the representation that we were asking for, we got. Him helping people out of their deals or paying for like bail at Rikers Island. That's way more than any of the stuff you named, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, what it seems like we want all this, like we're okay with not getting any actual material gain from our protest. And at some point, it looks silly. All they're gonna do is protest. They're not gonna build no institutions. They're not gonna like.
And all
They're
that,
too poor to really get anything, and that's what I'm saying. Which is my issue with the whole conversation about it. Because now we're holding him responsible for things that we actually don't fight for.
I don't think they should hold him responsible. I'm not saying to hold him responsible. I'm just saying he needs to be in understanding the dynamics of this country of what we shouldn't go on Instagram.
He probably understands it better than any of us.
But we shouldn't go to Instagram and protest. Well then if you understand it, let us know what's going on. Tell us what the situation is.
Well, I mean, I think
I would know this though. Black wealth does not equal. It is not black liberation. Those are two different things.
Black capitalism doesn't equal black liberation.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It doesn't.
But the only way to black liberation is through black wealth.
Yeah, and the way we do it, and that's how do we the black wealth? What do we do once we acquire it, and how do we go about building it? That's the question, and that's the debate, and that can be talked about. But people need to not be confused. When black folk get wealthy, it doesn't mean that black people are free. That's what white folk like to use. I mean, you see that black billionaire, man? No, anybody can make it, man. That black guy's a millionaire, man. That means you could do it too. It's a new day. Ain't no more racism and slavery. Look at that black billionaire over there. Like, dude, come on.
Well, yeah, I'm not even going to talk to those people though. So, right? It's like this whole debate culture that we're in. It's like, I get it. You want to challenge the thoughts, and if you get one person to move their position over, then you've done your job. But it's also like these conversations aren't important to have. I'm not having a conversation about racism with a white person that believes it's gone. There's nothing to say to that white person.
All right. I shouldn't say the R word. Impaired. Apologize.
You said what?
I said the R word. What, retard?
Oh yeah.
I try not. But sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's no point. It's like they bring Jake Lang into these conversations.
Bro,
it's a pointless thing.
What was and then they have to. Then she has the nerve. I can't remember her name. Then she has the nerve to attack, to try to use
She didn't attack him. I watched the whole video. She didn't attack him. I see that like a lot of people must have just watched that one clip that everybody was playing. Literally after she was saying that this is the best way to combat him is to say things like Abdul Sayed. That's what she said in that whole video. Okay. She did not attack him. She did not disparage the fact that she was talking to her
because
it's a psyop, bro. It's because they know people aren't gonna go do their due diligence. The whole premise of this show is to get people back to critical thinking.
It is.
Right? People saw that, and instead of saying, "Hey, I want to see what she actually said," they go, "Oh yeah, she's a grifter for what you showed me." But that is America.
I gotta watch that. Cause I saw the clip. I saw piece. I'm like, really? And it kind of confused me. But then to her to bring Jake Lang on, like,
and she was all happy. Nice to meet you. Welcome for coming. I'm glad you came.
What are you gonna learn putting him on? Like, he's an idiot. Yeah. Like, he's a legit stupid person. Yeah. Walker, him, Nick, Shirley, they're legitimate stupid people.
Yeah.
Just popping up because they're young. And they look like normal other white people, and for some kind of way, they feel like that is impressionable, or that could be enough of an influence to get people to go.
It's because the condition of white people is so bad that they can choose their bigotry over actual politics. That's the biggest grift in the world. It is against white folks, right? They keep white folks so subjugated, right? That they can only vote their bigotry. Right? Like, they're closing hospitals in Kentucky and Tennessee. They're closing schools, and houses are unaffordable, and people are losing their health care. There's no internet. That's also they can keep white people subjugated, who in then turn will uphold the bigotry that we experience.
Yep. And then being told the whole time to like you ain't got nothing because they're giving it to black people, basically.
And because you're white, you have the opportunity to have what we have.
Yeah, and that's what DEI is wrong, because see, them black people taking all your jobs because of DEI, and it's like you said, they vote against their own, they vote for their own bigotry.
Convince him that he's better than black, and he'll give you all the money in his pocket.
Yeah, I think Lyndon Johnson said that.
You know what I'm saying? If you convince him that he is better than the others, he will give you everything in his pocket just to be a part of that group that could possibly. And then you tell him it's your fault that you didn't make it. It's not the systems that have the South as the poorest region in the country or the least educated, right? Like that's a you thing. But that's the politics that they are using against poor white people, right? And honestly, that's what the progressive movement, why it scares the Democrats. It's because they look, all of y'all are working people, right? You should be able to go down to Mississippi and tell them, yeah, but you also don't have health care down here. Y'all are worried about the black vote, but you all have the dumbest schools in the country.
D.
Right?
D.
The worst health care, the worst education, the worst living conditions. You're the poorest country. I mean, poorest state.
Like if you could convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket.
He'll give them to you. He'll pull them out. He'll turn them pockets inside out. Which is why the mass immigration thing is. Immigrants are 20% of our economy. That's a big goddamn portion. That's a fifth of our economy.
Yeah.
Moving them would do drastic damage to our livelihoods. Forget not being able to go get tacos everywhere. The communities will fail. Period.
Oh yeah, we'll be done.
And because there's no answer on the Democratic side, besides politics as usual, we gotta slow walk everything. You know what I'm saying? It may not be in your lifetime, but we will get there type shit.
And then the actual party now that's actually saying this is what we want to do if you give us power. Oh, they're not Democrats. Oh,
We're the dirtbag left.
Oh, they're dirtbag. And even Van Jones, I talked about the other day. I'm for healthcare for all. Universal. I'm for affordable. I'm for the Green New Deal.
Just like a little bit more genocide. That's it.
But I'm not for pro Hamas. Nobody, unless there's nobody on the Democrat progressive wing, AOC,
none of the people running.
To Summer Lee, to Greg Caesar, to all these cats that consider themselves to be progressive. None of them are talking about pro Hamas, celebrating the intifada, or walking around here saying that they believe that we
intifada.
I can't talk.
I was like, what the hell?
Say it again.
It's the intifada.
What I said, that's like a what I said.
Intifada. Like well, you said like empanada. I said, what you trying to talk about?
Say it all the time, yo.
Yeah.
Can't talk, but I like to talk.
Yeah.
and what is the last thing that he said? And not defunding the police. Like, nobody, no Democrat in the halls of Congress has those views.
They conflate leftist rhetoric with policy that's being presented by it. Yeah.
And they want to conflate that to all of us. And then now you see they want to stop the movement that's actually saying, hey, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
And no, because they don't want that. At the end of the day, they
don't trust their voters.
No. Because, what can they know their voters actually want change?
Yeah. That's what it comes down to.
Establishment, and they want incrementalism, and they want this austerity, while their donors and the special interest backers continue to make all the money, and the money stays in the top. I find it funny that MAGA, according to MAGA, the number one person that is, like, I guess, heir to the throne is Marco Rubio, who is here because of birthright citizenship.
Yeah, things like that don't matter to them though. They can't read. Like when I hear of like something like drastically just unintelligent, I gotta remember 60% of Americans don't read past the 6th grade level. I went to watch The Odyssey yesterday, right? I decided, I'm gonna see what the book was actually about.
Yeah.
First book I work up. There's English words on that joint, and I grew up in a cult, so I didn't go to school. I don't have all this classical training, but I read enough. Reading it was like reading another language in American words.
Yeah. Because
I'm reading it, and I know I do not know what I'm reading. Like I know the words, but I don't understand the context they're being used in. I don't like any of it. It felt like reading a different language. That's what most people are doing with not great literature that's 3,000 years old. That's everyday life to them. They can't read. They don't have the ability to interact with thoughts
no.
in a critical manner.
And they're fighting against birthright citizenship. And the person that they want, they say that is the heir apparent, is the product of birthright citizenship.
Yeah. He's a Cuban. Like at the end of the day. And like that's why I don't like that's why it's like, all right, for what are you doing all this for, Rubio? You know they're not gonna put no Cuban dude in no office. Let's stop playing. You're not the right color for the Republican Party.
You're the useful idiot for them.
Yeah. You're a nice weapon against other people of color. But you're not gonna win the Republican nomination. You're not the right color for it. They're, they got rid of all the black folks in the Congress already. Them dudes is done. So for what are they doing it for? Like what is the act for?
All right. We're done.
And then we've been on this joint a long time.
Hey, time flies when you're having fun. Or you explaining yourself. I think, but I think people we're entertaining enough, just like our audience. These 2 hours fly by, guys.
No.
You don't even think about it. We don't think about it.
Nah.
It flies by. Literally, when we started, it was 6:12. Now it's 7:59.
It's 8 o'clock.
What? And as you guys watch and listen, soon we'll be watching. Soon we'll be watching. The whole world. As my wife looks at me. My wife thinks, I have maybe the only wife in the world that actually can't stand me. But her love for me is more important than her not standing me.
You get on her damn nerves. He gets on my damn nerves.
Oh, yeah, I love you, baby. Silence.
Your bitch ass up. No, I'm joking. That's what she probably said.
I know she probably. You want to call me? Ass.
Soft ass dick.
Favorite word. Hey. All right, y'all. Y'all know what we try to do here at Correctly Mistaken, man. We try to get people back to critical thinking and caring for the other. And even I have to talk to myself sometimes because sometimes I can see stuff at his face, and if I'm not careful, I want critical thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all trying to work towards all of us critical thinking because when we start doing that, just that alone, man, what this country can actually be and what we can actually, in terms of ideology, put to the dustbins of history. Now, they can have them and they can talk about them, but they won't be mainstream. That's what we're trying to do. So as for your boy Punch, I'm your boy Osei. This is Correctly Mistaken, the podcast, man. Y'all have a good week. See y'all soon. Be blessed. Peace.